Hello, spiritual business owners. It's Shanae Carey here, and today I want to talk to you about Facebook content for spiritual business owners and how to actually make it work for you, because this is something that comes up a lot when we are on our spirituality journey, whether we're seekers from way back or we're newly on the path. We kind of get to a point where we kind of want to be in flow. We want to let things flow through us and we want to be divinely guided. Now, that sometimes doesn't work particularly well with structure. And what I see happen is either, especially in the spirituality space, women either rebel entirely against the concept of having any kind of structure, because in their mind that's like military style rigidity and there's no flexibility whatsoever, so they rebel against it and they go all the way over this way. Or they're just so interested in just being in flow that they're not exploring any kind of structures or systems, and so they're not finding the sweet spot in the middle. And that's where I think the gold is right there in the middle. No, we don't want rigid military style systems, and we don't want to feel locked in. We don't want to feel that really systematic dun, 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 dun energy. It's not very liberating. What we also are not going to benefit from is being completely wishy-washy and flimsy about it and not paying any attention at all. Now, what we want to do is we want to find the sweet spot in the middle. Now, the sweet spot is different for everybody, but you're going to have a place somewhere between those two polar opposites where you can come and find that sweet spot. So I've got a couple of tips for you today as to how you can do that. So the first thing that I suggest that you do when it comes to your Facebook content is you collect everything that you've ever posted and you store it somewhere digitally. Now, I prefer something cloud-based rather than a Word document, because a Word document, if it's only saved on your computer, if your hard drive crashes or something, unexpected happens to your computer, and I don't want to jinx anyone, but it does happen, that sort of stuff can really throw you if your only backups are stored on your actual computer. So there's a whole tangent there, but I won't go off on that tangent here. But basically what I think is really important is that you protect your content, and you protect it by A, collecting it, and B, storing it somewhere safe. So I use Asana for all of my content. That's where it's all saved. You can house it in Evernote, you can house it in Google Docs, and I don't care whether you use a spreadsheet in there or an Excel, a spreadsheet or a Google document, or whatever. I always use those terms with Google interchangeably, but you know what I mean, in G Drive. So saving it somewhere digitally makes it really easy to repurpose it. But if you're not already doing it, you kind of have to put that initial effort in to go and collect everything that you've used and distributed so far. Now, if that doesn't interest you, you absolutely can skip that step. However, it can sometimes be helpful if you're an active user in Facebook groups that have got theme days, for you to go and have a bit of a search for your name and the theme days, and copy and paste basically and move everything across. If that doesn't tickle your fancy, I completely understand. But if you're going to be saying the same stuff over and over again, sometimes it's worth your while. The copy and pasting and the searching might actually save you more time in the long run, as opposed to reposting and retyping that out into the future if the message is still the same. So if you want to skip that step, then what I suggest that you do is you start and create a new habit from now, from this point forward. What that looks like is everything that you write, that you distribute out onto Facebook, whether that be on your Facebook business page, in a Facebook group that someone else curates, or perhaps even your own if you've got your own Facebook group yourself. So when it comes to content that you're putting out there for your business specifically, which is what we're talking about today, I suggest that from this point forward, every post that you write, you save it somewhere digitally. Bonus points if you can actually take that information and begin to categorize it as you do so. So for example, there's a handful of 5 different post types that I recommend that female entrepreneurs in the online business world use when they're talking about content and they're distributing it across their Facebook business page. So categories of these 5 include posts that are about you, so things that are about you and not necessarily linked to your business. So they could be things where you are talking about, you know, what you wanted to be when you grew up, or your passions, or some of the studies that you've done, or the places that you've traveled, and things that you've done in your lifespan up until this point. Also, you could look at things moving into the future, like your big vision and your dreams and things that you're excited about and things on your bucket list. All of those things fall into the category of posts about you. This category is non-time sensitive because you can kind of share that stuff at any time. The next one is a little bit more time sensitive, but these two can kind of go hand in hand a lot of the time. The next category I talk about is social content, and it is social media after all. Facebook is a social media platform. And if you leave the social part out, you're kind of missing the point. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you've got some social content in amongst the mix. Now, the social stuff, the way that I differentiate between the two of these is the posts that are about you have no time sensitivity to them, whereas the social ones are the things that you're kind of up to at the moment, or recently, or soon. So there's kind of a little bit of time sensitivity to it. The context may be very similar to posts about you, but these are the things where you're snapping pictures on the go, and this is sometimes the hardest category for some people to do, and other people find it the easiest. So you'll find that there's always, in a group of people, there's always one person who always snaps a picture of their food or a selfie with the person that they're with or whatever. Those people find this category really easy, whereas those people who are, you know, really good at being really present and in the moment are not thinking about the camera or the social media opportunity. They're the ones who struggle to remember to get their camera out, and it's not until after the event that they go, oh, I should have taken a picture, I should have taken that selfie, I should have done whatever. So that can be a really great habit to get yourself into. Finding photos on your phone is a really great way to inspire you to write social content, because you can say, even though it was last week, you could write a post and say, last week I did, and here's the photo to go with it. So there's two categories. Those two, it's really hard to kind of collect and categorize the social content and keep it relevant. You often need to tweak it slightly. So say it happens and you post about it now, and then you want to kind of do a little flashback in 6 months' time and talk about the thing that happened in July 2019, for example. You will have to tweak the wording slightly. It's not a simple cut and paste. Whereas the you stuff, you can, you know, repurpose 6-12 months down the track and it's still the same. So there are two. So you and social content. The other three categories, what we've got is promotional content. So they're the things that you sell, products, services, whatever it is that you sell. We've got value posts. So those are things like this video, things that are informative and educational, things that are going to help people, things that are going to inspire them, encourage them, give them information and things that they can try. And then the last one is, so we've got posts about you, social posts, promo posts, value posts. The last one is fun. And I find that this one is, again, it's one of those categories where some people love it and some people hate it, and it just depends on where you are on the scale. So fun content is one of those categories where it's kind of nice to be entertained. If you're going to follow someone's Facebook business page, it's nice to have some fun, entertaining content to consume as well. And let that speak to your personality. Don't try and do things that don't speak to your personality. It's not going to be congruent. But if you love a bit of fun and, like me, really bad dad jokes and puns, then go ahead and share that kind of stuff. But if it's not your gig, don't do that. Find your kind of thing. I've got a client who makes beeswax products like candles and wax wraps for food products. So all of her fun posts are bee related or honey related. And they're all really, really funny and really cute and interesting because they're on topic with what she does with her business. And that's a really cool example of the ways that you can personalize the fun content. It doesn't always have to be business related. You'll see on my Facebook business page, there's a couple of times a week where there's a space where there's regular content that goes out that is simply for entertainment purposes only. Excuse me. So they're the 5 post categories that I think are really important. So sorry, I'm trying to get my water bottle, I'm knocking things over. So as you go about collecting content that you've already written, perhaps, if you decide not to do that, that's fine. But from this point forward, start to categorize your content. Maybe start with those categories or start with your own custom categories. There's not one right way to do this, but the categories can be really helpful. That also helps you with the Facebook groups that you hang out in, especially if they're those kinds of groups where they've got theme days and you can post in line with the theme day. So that, I hope, has been helpful. This is a value post. in those 5 categories, that's definitely a value one for sure. So if you have any questions for me, please do let me know. It's finding that sweet spot in the middle for us. It's balancing that beautiful flow and a little bit of structure and having it work for us so that we're not having to reinvent the wheel every time we want to put out a Facebook post, and we get to reuse the stuff that we write and repurpose it and squeeze all the juice out of it, because sometimes we write really long posts and we want to squeeze all the juice out of those. Can still do that with the short ones, but sometimes we want to make sure if we've put the effort in and we've told a beautiful long story, you really want to make sure that you're using that. All right, guys, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got any questions, please do get in touch. Let me know if you need some help with systemizing this. I can set it all up for you in Asana or in something similar. We can get some categories happening. We can pre-write some content for you and start getting that filled in and making it easy for you. It'd be an absolute pleasure and privilege to be of service to you. Take care and bye for now.